I am the Director of Social Work Field Education at UWM, and I'm going to present this brief video on grading your field student at the end of the semester. So the purpose of the evaluation process is actually something that is required by the Council on Social Work Education. And the purpose is to provide your assessment of how the student has demonstrated the social work competencies in several different areas. And we expect that you would provide students with both constructive feedback and positive reinforcement regarding their performance. And in all of the evaluations, 75% weight toward the field education grade is the final evaluation that you complete. We just want to make a notation that we know our current evaluation instrument is not ideal, and we're going to be revising it this summer for a rollout for fall 2021 semester. We hope to make it less redundant, have fewer rating categories, and be more streamlined. Slides just give you a breakdown of how students are graded across different field courses. So this is the undergraduate students, and 75% again of the weight towards their final field grade is what's on the evaluation, and we have a worksheet that actually helps us calculate that. And then 25% is the field seminar grade that they have, which is weekly. You could see that there's also deductions for late documents, a 1.5% reduction, and missing documents. So if they don't, for example, turn their learning plan, they would lose 3 percentage points out of a 100-point scale. And this slide gives a breakdown of our foundation students that are in 721. These are our students without a BSW. And they are also in a field seminar. There's 3 parts to their grade, unlike the other courses. 75% again is related to the final evaluation you complete. 15% is the field assignments, and these are things that you are likely assigning them to do, maybe a biopsychosocial assessment, a treatment plan, facilitating a group, maybe redrafting some policies, procedures, etc. We also have a web page for MSW field assignments, and there's other choices that students can pick from, but you should be part of the process for approving those. And then they turn those in on their course website. And then finally, 10% of those 721 students are in a weekly field seminar, and that accounts for their grading of the 10%. So this is the grading breakdown for all the other graduate courses. Again, 75% weight towards the grade is a final field evaluation, and 25% is the completion of their field assignments. So just to kind of lay out this evaluation purpose again, and what you should think about as you're grading your students or evaluating them. It should really mirror an evaluation process that you would have in practice. So you get evaluated, think about how that process goes, and we want students to begin to get familiar with that process because they're going to be eventually seeking social work employment. Please make sure that you identify both strengths and areas that they need to continue to develop. And be as honest as possible. I mean, I know students like to hear all wonderful, flowery things, but they need to also understand that, you know, no one's completely 100% perfect in what they do, and they need to learn where they could focus on growth. And you can explain to a student what a exceptional rating in a particular area would look like, because sometimes students rate themselves across the board as exceptional, but you need to be part of the process of helping them understand that there is actually specific expectations that would look exceptional, and maybe the student's average in that particular rating category. Meets expectations is a solid rating. It's, students think of it as a C, but it's not a C. It really means they're meeting expectations, which is good. And we don't have NAs because we have to evaluate all the competencies as required by CSWE. So if the student has not had an opportunity to demonstrate a competency in a certain area, please just write meets expectations in the box, and then just note that there's been no opportunity to demonstrate in the comment area. And the rating should coincide with where the student is at in field. So for example, a first semester BSW student's a beginner. So when rating them, consider if they're average, below average, or exceptional for a beginning social work student. And for last semester students in both our undergrad and grad program, they should be ready for practice. So at the end of the last semester, rate them consistent with what you would expect from a new employee at your agency. So just to kind of summarize, the final evaluation forms, both the self-eval and the field instructor's version are exactly the same. They just have different headings. Your students should start the process by submitting their self-evaluation to you. You have to review it and then sign off on it. And then you can either prepare your final evaluation on them in supervision, or you can prepare it in advance and present it to the student. The student will need a copy of it, so please make sure that once you complete it online, you download the form and submit it to the student so they can upload it into the course site. Please note that the students need to have narrative comments for each of the rating categories, documenting how they demonstrated the competencies. And we ask field instructors to do comments if long as it's a rating other than meets the basic expectations. And those are our categories. So some examples, if you think about ethical and professional behavior, you could write something like this to document an exceptional student. Student has actively participated in weekly supervisory meetings throughout the semester and is prepared in advance for supervision. Student seeks his field instructor's direction on a consistent basis when appropriate. Student follows supervisory directives and accepts constructive feedback extremely well. So this is kind of what we're looking for. Students have a right to appeal grades, and so we have to use a final evaluation as evidence to support why they were graded, the way they were. And we use your rating categories to calculate the grade. So here's some rating examples. These are actually on the evaluation form. So please use this as a guide for you when you think about each rating category and where that student should fall. Most students get between a B and an A. Some students feel that field should be an easy course and everyone gets an A, but that's not true. Really, only the students that are exceptional should get an A. A final grade of B, B plus, A minus are all perfectly acceptable, but if they get a B minus or below, then they've not passed the course. Both the field courses require a B or better, and so do our social work practice / methods courses. So students with exceptional performance would generally get an A if it was in most categories. If they got exceeds expectations, they would generally get a B plus to an A minus. And if they got all basic, they would get a B or B plus. And of course, below that are students that are unlikely to pass the course, and they may have to repeat it. I want to thank you for your commitment to social work field education. I hope this video was helpful. Please note that social work education is not possible without dedicated social workers like yourself, willing to supervise and mentor our students. And you're really helping in the development of the next generation of social workers. So please know your leadership can have a very powerful and lifelong impact on your student. So thank you again, and please reach out if you have any additional questions. Bye-bye.